Alright, hello everybody. I'm Jake Manderson, and for my thesis, I decided to do risks of technology on children and young adults. A little bit about myself. I'm finally graduating, like all of you. My areas of concentration are architecture, communications, and integrative studies, and I plan on working in the construction field whenever I graduate. Alright. My research question: what are the effects of technology on today's youth psychologically, socially, and physically? Neil Cunningham, who is actually an expert in integrative study or interdisciplinary studies, says no matter how great or small the scope of research is, the serious researcher needs to reserve adequate time to perform a thorough survey of published articles. The question needed to be broad enough to attract more intriguing and accurate areas of contest. And this was my thought process behind my first step of REPCO. REPCO step 2 is, can you justify an interdisciplinary approach? With widespread use of technology, it is justified because it does affect every part of our life nowadays. And as I said earlier in my question, I'm already attacking three separate components to technology. REPCO step 3. Use your research to define specific disciplines which most readily associate with your topic. The three I've chosen are psychology, sociology, and physiology. Step 4 is conduct a literature review. Step 5 is develop adequacy in each relevant discipline. Step 6 is to analyze the issue you are researching. Step 7 is identify conflict and agreements between insights and sources. This is where you try to see the underlying factors within the research. Step 8 is combine your disciplines into an interdisciplinary blend. This is where you use all other ideas to come up with your own. Step 9 is to integrate the sources. This is where you begin your interdisciplinary analysis. And step 10, use interdisciplinary skills to produce a more holistic understanding of the problem and to challenge for a proper interdisciplinary solution. Reduce your plan to writing. The moment you complete this, you will have definitely given concrete form to the intangible desire. That's again by Napoleon Hill. And this is why the whole REPCO process is important. What I discovered through my research. Technology is advancing. Technology is increasing in advances at an exponential rate of roughly 10 yearly. That means 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. That's how quick technology is advancing. With these raises, technology use has also increased, with the average child watching 7.5 hours per day. And 75% of those children have electronic devices in their bedroom. Infants actually watch an estimated 2.5 hours of television a day. Why are children at higher risk than adults from technology? Because children's brains are not fully developed. Technology use has a higher risk of having adverse effects that can last throughout life on these children. Children can be exposed to acts that are beyond their years and have been proven to show adverse effects in adulthood, including violence. How much do kids actually use electronic devices? The Kaiser Family Foundation found in a 2009 study showed that 8 to 18-year-olds spend an average of 7 hours and 38 minutes to using electronic media devices. Much of that time is spent media multitasking, which actually overpacks the roughly 8 hours with over 10 hours and 45 minutes worth of media content. This number has been steadily increasing since 1999. The studies actually covered 1999, 2005, and 2009. And every year, every time they've done the study, it has increased. There are pros, however, but there are also cons to social media, which is probably the most widely used electronic device or electronic media by children. Information. One of the pros is information has never been passed as fast as it is today. Police can actually use social media to catch criminals. Social media can be used to aid students in schoolwork. Some of the cons: false information is also through social media sites. Personal privacy is becoming a thing of the past. Heavy social media use is linked to poor grades. Some more pros: allows people to make new friends easily, facilitates face to face interactions, and can find people around the world. Some of the cons can lead to stress and offline relationship problems. Social media is correlated with personality and brain disorders such as depression. We'll go into that later. Causes less actual face to face time. So while it may facilitate face to face action, it does more people use it differently than to actually have face to face conversations. Um, and I also put can find people from around the world in the cons folder because or side because not everybody wants to be found all the time, and people often post their addresses to social media sites. And social media sites are the only place that really have cyberbullying, which is a kind of a new phenomenon. Let's talk about some of the psychological effects of electronic use in children. Children who use technology at a heavy rate tend to show narcissistic behavior later in life. Technology use affects children, preteens, and teens by making them more prone to anxiety and depression. Many online chat room users have feelings of loneliness and can even blur children's understanding of virtual and real life. This means they can't associate the difference between virtual conversations and real life conversations. This goes back into the narcissistic behavior and the cyberbullying thing, where people might say things that they don't mean online that they would never say in face to face conversation. A few more psychological effects. Adult images are all over the internet, as we all know, and children with unrestricted access to the web can stumble upon these sites. When this happens, it can have lasting effects through to adulthood. It can really mess up a little kid if they see something they're not ready to see yet. Hyperviolent video games can lead to increased aggression in children, especially boys. Desensitization to violence and other graphic material is a possibility as well, which leads to more violent behavior because they don't understand what they're doing is wrong. Some of the physical effects of technology on children. Technology is a driving factor in today's childhood obesity epidemic. This leads to diseases such as diabetes and heart related issues. And heart disease actually is the number one killer of Americans today, so that's kind of a big issue when our kids start having heart attacks. Children in recent years have begun to develop issues such as carpal tunnel syndrome and back problems, which used to only be associated with adults. Since computers are designed for adult use, risk of injury is raised for children because simply it is not designed for children. Some more physical effects. A new ailment known as computer eye syndrome can lead to prolonged eye strain and vision problems for the future. In some cases, severe neck pain and migraines is also a symptom. And keep in mind, this is in children, not in adults. Children are getting migraines from computers. Insomnia is becoming a regular part of children's lives today as well, with more than two-thirds of kids having electronic use in their bedroom. Social effects of technology on children. Technology addiction is alive in children today and can lead to further addiction problems in the future. This includes the need to constantly check up on social media sites. This goes hand in hand with a new anxiety disorder called FOMO. Um, it's called fear of missing out, which means that if the kid does not check their phone, they get this overwhelming fear of anxiety that they're missing out on something and that they're going to be made fun of for it the next day at school. A complete lack of privacy has led to many kinds of altercations, many of which happen at a house listed on social media sites. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of people list their address on social media sites without actually understanding all the backlash of it. Kids have been kidnapped because their parents post pictures of them outside their school. There's tons of issues with social media and tracking. Social media creates a lack of empathy for others. This goes back to cyberbullying, where people might say things that they don't really mean on the internet, or they might say it a little bit crass, and it's just bad news. Cyberbullying can lead to feelings of social outcast and isolation. Cyberbullying is just a new thing, that new way to torture kids, I guess. The conclusion: technology is not going to slow down, and many negative effects can come from improper restrictions set by parents. While the research was very encompassing in terms of my three disciplines, there is more research that needs to be done on the subject. Before we go ahead and ban all technology, how about we wait a little longer to see what the actual adverse effects are? A lot of research is speculation, and it definitely needs to have more basis before we start changing any laws or anything to reduce technology use in children. But it is still an issue. There are risks. That's why I say it's a risk, not a. This is a solution. This is a very simple to use graph, illustrates how often children should be allowed to use electronic devices according to age and type of media. As you can see, 0 to 2 years should be none. But as I stated previously, babies actually watch 2.5 hours of television every day, which is 2.5 hours more than they should. And you can see these other times, the most that it says is 2.5 hours. But as I also stated previously, most children spend roughly 8 hours a day on electronic devices. Another solution: in order to understand the problem, this information needs to be made public, and what better way than using technology to warn others about technology? So for this, I've actually created a website that goes into further detail with all the facts that I've got. And it provides more numbers and links to websites that'll give you better information that I couldn't tell you because of time constraints. I'm already past 10 minutes. Thing is completely usable. All these will say you want to go to this website. This will give you some more information about children and technology, as well as all these other ones. Infographic I found on Mashable that actually breaks down how much everybody uses technology, not just children. And if you go down to the link, it'll take you to the actual website that gives you more information. This page is strictly about children and some of the disorders and child obesity, for instance. Here's a few more facts about child obesity that I couldn't cover, that I invite all of y'all to come check out at your own leisure. And then I did a whole page doing the pros and cons of social media, which you can also get more information from. The videos cover cyberbullying, texting while driving, which I think is a more of a personal thing for me because accidents are bad, and I've had some things happen in my past that were bad. And then childhood obesity, which is an epidemic. And the more information page just gives you links to more information about all of these ailments that kids can get from technology. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation on risks of technology on children and young adults. And I hope you look at my website. Thank you. Bye.